Hello, welcome. This is Politic Revolutionary here today with a guide on Sid Meier's Civilization 6. So this guide will cover the transition between Civilization 5 and Civilization 6, the new features inherent to Civilization 6, and how things have changed overall, some of the new strategies that I have found, and just some advice in general. So, first of all, I'm going to start off with great people. So, in Civilization 5, you had specialist slots which you worked in cities in order to generate great people points. Wonders and other things like that also contributed. So, now in Civilization 6, great people are up for a competition between civilizations. So, you still generate it in more or less the same way as before, with social policies also contributing. But now you're competing with other civs to get to the counter. And so once you get close enough to getting a great person, you could probably buy it with faith or gold. And the cost is very high, but certain things such as freedom reduces the cost by 50%. So with great people, you're just going to be competing with other civilizations for the great person. And yes. So there are some policies which I will talk about later that can help that. Next, I will cover cities themselves. So with this city, there's see this tab right here? This is districts and buildings. So then as you research, you're going to unlock districts for your cities, such as the Holy Site District. So these are basically city centers, the equivalent of city centers in Civ 5, but they hold specialized buildings, and that is where you put your specialists, etc., etc. So you have to unlock these districts, and then you have to build them manually, then put buildings in the districts themselves. So districts get adjacency bonuses for various things. So, for example, the campus district gets an adjacency bonus from mountains. So if I built a campus district right here on this sheet, I would get plus free adjacency bonus from having these free mountains. And that would increase the science in the city. There are certain policies that can increase the amount of science you get from adjacency bonus, or culture from adjacency bonuses, etc., etc. Can't quite find them, but they're here. So yes, that has changed. Let's just play around a bit. Wait. Okay, so now there's these districts which you place buildings, everything in, basically. There are some buildings that are kept in the city center, such as the monument, which you can build immediately right off the bat, and I believe the granary as well can go in here, as well as the palace. So those are
under the white cliff's battlemented crown, pushed to a depth of more than Sabbath peace.
Okay. So here's another large part of technology: Eureka bonuses. So there's both Eureka and Inspiration bonuses in the game now. These cover half the technology cost. So some great scientists actually give Eureka bonuses instead of a flat bonus to science. None give flat bonuses to science, I believe, right now. They give Eureka bonuses instead. Eureka bonuses can be achieved by accomplishing certain arbitrary tasks, such as meeting another civilization, finding a natural wonder, farming a resource, etc., etc. As we go later in the game, more and more of them will require you to use a great scientist and spy to find the Eureka bonus. There's actually a great scientist that can give you a Eureka bonus for every single one of these information technologies. which is pretty good, if I do say so myself. So Eureka bonuses are used for advancing in technology. You can use them if you wish, or you can brute force technologies. Sometimes in the case of my games, I don't really usually have a coastal empire. This game I did because I just played completely random in Japan. But let's say you don't have a coastal empire, you're still almost definitely going to have to research these coastal technologies, since all of these do lead up to computers somehow, and which lead up to robotics. So you are going to have to research coastal technologies, but you might not be able to get the Eureka bonus on them. Sometimes ancient ruins provide Eureka bonuses on technologies, but not always. So yes. So another large part of Civilization 6 is the way that they have changed wonders. So wonders, they used to be pretty good in Civilization 5, but they didn't used to be amazing. They weren't game-changing, unless if you were Spain. Now in Civilization 6, they tend to be very good. Sometimes there are multiple tiles, this one's 2 tiles, and this one gives adjacent water tiles, free culture, and 2 gold, which is really good, actually. And so that, there's one wonder that doubles the bonuses for all adjacent tiles to it, and I believe it's a multi-tile wonder as well. So wonders are really good. They'll help your game. In addition to these, in addition to wonders, and in addition to technology trees, there's the civics tree. So this basically is like a technology tree for social policies, basically. So it allows you to research these government policies that you can implement. They give various bonuses that can be changed at any time for gold, or upon the discovery of a new tech for free. Some of these provide governments. Governments allow you to change the number of slots your civilization has in terms of policies. So Classical Republic, for example, gives 0 military slots, 2 economic policies, 1 diplomatic policy, and 1 wildcard policy. Autocracy, on the main hand, gives other bonuses, and oligarchy, etc. They also have an inherent bonus, which gives boosts to yields for autocracy, melee strength for them, or amenities with classical republics. So these all have various bonuses. In addition to that, there is the legacy bonuses for government. These are bonuses that you keep. You don't keep the base amount. The base amount you lose upon changing government. However, the plus 1% for every 15 turns on standard speed for this government will, you will keep it throughout the game. So, let's say you stay on a classical republic for a very long time, then you'll get bonus great people generation as a bonus to keep throughout your empire, which is really good, actually. Then there's influence generation. So, city-states have been completely revamped. Let me see if I can find one. Probably can't, because doing stuff live doesn't help. But city-states have been completely revamped. Instead of paying gold for city-state influence, you will be paying envoys. Envoys you gain from completed missions, or from base, just base building up. So these envoys, so let's see, here we are with the Classical Republic. So you get influence generation. So 100 points of influence, which you gain base free per turn. There are policies and stuff that does increase that. You gain an extra envoy. So this envoy you can spend on increasing city-state influence. If you have 1 influence, you gain the base amount. If you have 3 envoys, then you gain a secondary bonus. And if you have 6 envoys, you gain a tertiary bonus. In addition to this, there's suzerainty, which is basically being the ally of a city-state. And this is gained by having at least 3 envoys and the most amount of envoys. So it can't be that you just meet a city state, get the automatic free envoy you get from meeting a city state, and then immediately become their suzerain. No, you have to have at least 3 envoys.
No man ever wetted clay.
So here you see we have a worker. That is another major change. So workers are in Civ 6. They don't work the same. They're more short-term in use. So you can use them for building farms or other actions. And this action will be completed instantly. Honored to meet you. Okay, so just a quick point on meet and other civilizations. If you're the first one to meet them, if your action is the one that causes the interaction between you two, then that allows you to see their capital. If they're the first one to see you, then you can refuse letting them see your capital, but I usually just let them see where my capital is. It doesn't really change anything. So yes, with diplomacy, there's also diplomatic envoys, which I will get to later. Anyways, with workers, I can't do anything here. Workers, they give instant builds. So with workers, they're instant, they're less long term. This discourages workers stealing from city states, and it forces you to focus much more on building workers and improving your infrastructure for that. In addition, workers do have the harvest resource, which allows you to just take all of the resource for yourself immediately, but removes the resource from the map. It can be useful at times for Russian wonders, but otherwise it is generally voided because of the way that, well, you don't want to lose access to a resource if it's going to help you in the future. So here's a goodie hut. They look smaller, less noticeable than in Civ 5, but you do get a notification that allows you to zoom in on it, which is great. This worker I can't actually show in action, so I'll just keep him there. Okay.
Enacting new.
At his best.
So this is how policies work. So if you go to the government tab, since we unlocked the policy, we don't have to pay for this. If we didn't unlock a policy this turn, then we would have to pay a small gold price. Same for governments. If we were to change a government on the turn that we got the technology, then we won't have to pay anything. If not, we do have to pay a small fee. So here are the beginning policies. There are military, economic, diplomatic, and wildcard policies. Some civs get extra. Germany gets an extra military policy slot, and Greece gets an extra wildcard policy slots. In addition, there are wonders such as the Forbidden Palace, which gives a diplomatic policy slot. So these policies vary. They can be used very flexibly because of the gold cost involved. I myself prefer using the +1 faith and +1 gold in order to get an early Pantheon, otherwise you're just not going to have much of a chance of getting a Pantheon, at least not a good one. So that will let you get a Pantheon within 25 turns. This I use for fighting barbs because barbs are annoying. So yes, just something. Let us continue. So, where should I talk now? Oh, while on the topic of Pantheons. So Pantheons are actually 1 base cost. As soon as you get 25 faith, you can found a Pantheon. This Pantheon, you do not lose your bonus at all during the game, even if your civilization is converted to another religion, which makes Pantheons actually very important. There is a Pantheon that increases great person generation due to campuses and stuff like that in districts. I apologize for that. Okay. Now onto one of the more obvious features of civilization.
We have recently gained advanced knowledge in city planning.
Writing is easy.
So in Civilization 5, if you had a tile that was 1 movement, and then you had a tile that was 2 movement, you could move to the tile that was 1 movement, and then move to the tile that is 2 movement. However, in Civilization 6, you can only move to tiles that you have sufficient movement for. This makes running away with units much more easier, but it also makes attacking harder at the same time, which is cool, I suppose. Just researching random stuff. Sorry if you have a problem with that. Okay. I'm going to show this in practice. So here we can unlock this for 105 gold and change the policy. Didn't actually change anything, but yeah. Okay. So that shows how you can change government policies for that. What else? Let's talk about diplomatic interactions. So the way that wars have changed has changed dramatically. So in the early game, you don't get any diplomatic penalty for declaring war. However, as years advance, declaring a war changes. It becomes harder. It makes other civilizations hate you more. So if you declare a surprise war, which means you have no casus belli, reason for war in Latin, then you are declaring war for no reason, but it doesn't cost you anything, in the ancient era at least. As you get up, it gives more penalties. In the final eras, it's egregious, which will make the entire world hate you, basically. In addition, there's denouncing, as usual. You can denounce them, and it will give you a casus belli for 5 turns, after 5 turns. There's delegation. This is the equivalent of an embassy. It will give you a level of diplomatic access. And diplomatic access allows you to see more of the civ in how they work, in what they're doing, did they attack a city-state, did they clear a barbarian encampment, what they cleared the barbarian encampment. If you have an alliance, then you have full diplomatic access, which can get quite annoying because of the number of pop-ups, but you're allied to someone, which is great. So yes, declare friendship is the same as usual as in Civ 5. Civ 5 you declared friendship. You don't actually have to have a friendship in order to trade gold. Friendships are more rare in Civilization 6 due to agendas, which I cover in a tiny bit. And friendships allow you to get alliances and research agreements and stuff like that. Is there anything I could show? Yes, you can't. You can trade gold right from the start, which is that. Okay. So now let's go with agendas. So each leader is based on their historical equivalent, and they have this agenda. So these agendas reflect the leader's personality, and they influence how they are diplomatically. So Frederick Barbarossa has the Iron Crown agenda, which means that they like civilizations who do not associate with city-states, do not like suzerains of city-states, or civilizations who conquered city-states. Basically, if you're related to city-states in any way, they will hate you, which is really annoying, but it's Frederick. You just have to deal with it. So, if you violate a leader's agenda, they will denounce you, and then if you satisfy a leader's agenda, then they will like you a bit more. Those will affect your relations. You can also see their government form from this tab. Government does affect relations. So there's unknown reasons, and here are all the reasons that could increase or decrease your relationships with a leader. There are more, but that's all you can see now. So these show access levels in terms of information given. And here is gossip. So just some more information on gossip. So there's more information on gossip and agendas. So they have the Iron Crown agenda, but they also have a hidden agenda. This hidden agenda is something that they get randomly. You cannot predetermine this, and this is something that you can't find out until you get the alliance access level if you ever do. And this will also affect how they see you. It may be quite annoying for you, may not. I find a lot of the time the hidden agenda is related to, how do you call it? I find it a lot of the time that it's related to military strength. If you have a weak navy, then they will tend to hate you more. If you have a strong navy, then they will tend to like you more. Wow, that's good. Okay. What else? There's lots more. Great works have not changed much since Civilization 5. I believe they might have removed, how do you call it? I can't even remember. When you have two great works of the same type, wow. Anyways, they might have removed the bonus where you satisfy the requirements for a wonder. If you have two of so and so type that satisfies the wonder, you get an extra tourism boost. In fact, tourism itself has been revamped in Civilization 6. I'll cover victory conditions a bit later. Right now, I will just continue. Oh, they don't seem very friendly. Okay. So one thing that you will notice in Civilization 6 compared to Civilization 5, we just met their agenda, Iron Trust, is that technology, science and culture will be much lower, and in fact faith and gold will be much lower than you're used to. This is due to districts. Districts take up a lot of space, it means you get less food, and it is due to the worker change because workers, you have only so many uses for them, which is quite annoying. If you're China, you get an extra use of them, and if you're the Aztecs, you get more workers from just killing enemy units, one per enemy unit, which is very nice. So science will be very low. I finished a Prince game. I know Prince. I'm used to Civ 5 deity. Sorry. But I finished a Prince game with only 100 signs per turn, and look, that doesn't cost very much. In addition, I got the Great Person, which gave me the Eureka bonus for all of these information texts, which made it about 7 turns for each of them, which is quite insane. So you're not going to have much science overall. Plus, I press F9 for the Civilopedia, and let us see if we can find, should probably just search it. Great scientist. Okay. Unfortunately, this does not show here. Okay. So, this shows here. So, these are all the great people of every type. So, he's a great person? What? I don't know, but I remember him as a terrible king. I think isn't he Arefel the Unready? I don't know. But anyways, so great people have their own unique bonuses, so they come at various times. So this is the one I was talking about giving all the Eureka bonuses for all technologies in the information era. So these great people, they come at varying times. They have special abilities. They come in a distinct order. If you memorize the order, or if you just look up the order, then you can predict when a great person that you really need is coming up, and when a great person you don't really need is coming up. And you can pass great people. Probably not shown here. But basically, if you get a great person, then you have the ability to choose if you want to take them or pass them. Pass them takes away a bit of the points you have accumulated, but it allows you to use the rest on the next great person, which allows you to just do amazing things. So let's just search crossing. So this is one of the best great people in my opinion. So this is a great scientist, and he gives you basically a free spaceship part for the Mars landing, which is rather insane. It is an extraordinary bonus. I skipped 31 turns with him. So basically my point is, you have to plan when you are going to pass and when are you going to use a great person based on their abilities. Once I got Mary Leakey, she gives 350 science per artifact, but I didn't have any artifacts, and I couldn't even trade one because the AI on lower difficulties is of course not going to get many artifacts. It's going to be harder to get that. So yes, let me continue walking through the game. So we've covered diplomacy, we've covered
Reconnaissance
technology,
units like
I don't
covered
believe in
great people,
astrology.
and we have covered civics. I would like to cover government a bit more before I move on to theological combat and describe that. So these are the governments that you have. So basically these governments have varying bonuses. So monarchy comes before theology, which comes before merchant republic. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. It depends on how you would like to use them. But one of the real reasons why you should focus a lot on culture, though not excessively, is that you want to get these late tier governments over here. These late tier governments are unlocked after ideology, and they basically give you many more policy slots than before. And in addition, they have insane bonuses for their inherited bonuses and for their let's see, inheritance bonuses and legacy bonuses. Yes. So, for example, democracy has patronage of great people costs 50% less gold. So the strategy with, if you're going for democracy, which I feel is a very good government in Civilization 6, unlike Civilization 5, in which it's good for certain scenarios, but others tend to be better in a lot of things. So the real great thing about democracy in Civilization 6 is the 50% patronage less cost of gold. So this allows you to, in the late game, if you're going for, let's say, a science victory. So, let's say you really want Carl Sagan. See how everything is building up towards this one thing. So, let's say you want Carl Sagan. So, he costs, let's say, 11,000 gold. You take democracy. He only costs 5,500. You sell a few great works. The AI pays about 1,000 gold each great work. And there you go. You've got Carl Sagan, and you've got your science victory. This can be a potentially game-changing ability, but it depends on how you play things. The bonuses from the other two governments can be very useful for a domination victory, but you might not be the one for a domination victory. Speaking about victories, let's cover victories. So, let's begin with score. Score is determined by civics, empire, great people, religion, technology, wonders. So these all affect your score. Whoever has the highest score in standard speed at the end of turn 500 wins by default. It's a fairly simple victory, but it doesn't happen often. Now let us talk about the science victory. So the science victory involves, it involves 3 steps. So the first step requires you to build a spaceport, research rocketry, and then launch the Earth satellite. So this is basically the equivalent of Sputnik, basically. You just need to do Sputnik. It's not very hard, but it can require a lot of production. Then after that, there is the moon landing phase. So it requires you researching satellites and launching the moon landing. This is another project. It costs about 2,500 production. Takes quite a long time, but it will get you another step closer to science victory. And then here is the hard stuff. So this is the Mars landing. So the Mars landing requires the research of free late game technologies, including nuclear fission, robotics, and nanotechnology, all of them required for future tech, so you can tell that they're very far ahead. In addition, it requires you to launch the Mars reactor, Mars habitation, and the Mars hydroponics in no particular order. And these all cost free fast production. Given Civ 6, you don't have quite as much production as you would in Civ 5, which could be a problem. But thankfully, you do have great people, great scientists, great engineers that do boost your ability to produce. So, those will help you. And once you have completed all three of those steps, you will gain a science food tree. Now, tours. So this screen represents it well enough, but I'm going to expand upon it. So you have domestic and visiting tourists, as you can see here. Domestic tourists are those tourists from your civilization that are vacationing domestically. Let's say the United States, for example. Let's say you're from New York and you want to vacation in the Grand Canyon. So that's a domestic tourist because you are within your own country and you are there doing that stuff. Visiting tourists are the numbers of citizens you've attracted from the domestic tourist pools of other countries, basically saying, oh, my country sucks, I want to go to this other country, and those are the ones that are going to your country. So then, a cultural victory is achieved by having more visiting tourists, by having more culture and tourism than all civilizations, and then any other civilizations' domestic tourists at home. So when more people are going to your lands than they're going to their own lands, you've won culturally. This is a fairly easy victory, especially with the spy action that allows you to steal great works, which is amazing in my opinion. But it might not be possible on deity or practical. It depends on your strategy. You have to focus very much on great works and get in those, which will put you behind in technology. Domination is the same as it was in Civ 5. You have to capture all original capitals. Not much to cover there. And there's a new victory, the religious victory. The religious victory means that you have become the predominant religion for every civilization in the game. Religion is predominant if it is followed by more than 50% of the cities in the civilization. Population does not count. Notice how it says cities. That is a strategy. The AI will spam cities because cities, they don't actually contribute to tech or culture cost in this game. They just take time. So, the AI will spam cities. If you can just convert them to small ones. For all the civilizations, you gain a religious victory. Fortunately, this is not so easy on deity or on a continent's map, because you have the Great Ocean Divide, which allows basically two predominant religions. However, if you're on a Pangea map, you could maybe get the ball rolling and get a religious victory. So let's talk about how religion works. So there's a great prophet, great person, which you can get from getting great prophet points. Those are generated from policies and from the Holy Site District if you have certain buildings in it. Great prophet, there's about 5 on a standard map size, which is good. So these great prophets, you get them, you found a religion. You can choose from historical religions, you can choose a custom religion, you can still rename the religion if you want. So these religions, they have various bonuses. One of the bonuses is +1 production per citizen in your capital. I believe that's equivalent of your found bonus. Then there's other bonuses that you get. Once you have that, you don't actually get a second great prophet. What you get is an apostle. Apostle costs about 350 faith per turn. Not per turn, but just 350 accumulated faith. That accumulated faith you can use to get an apostle. The apostle you can use to enhance your religion. Apostles can also be used for spread of religion and theological combat. So if you have two cities near a city, wow. If you have two missionaries near a city, then they can engage in theological combat. It has to be an apostle who is attacking. The missionary cannot attack. They can only defend. So then if you have an apostle attacking a missionary, so they engage in wizardry and magical stuff. It looks like that, at least. If you see the animation, it's quite cool. There's that and the developers showing off religion video. I might link that in the description. Probably not because I'm lazy. But yes. So theological combat. Whoever loses influence in the nearest city, which is rather good for the winner, and it is an easy way to spread your religion. Anyways, I believe that is all for Civilization 6. Free tiles between cities. Same thing as always. Hex grid. Oh yes. Combining units. So, later game you can combine units given certain technologies, and I believe policies might actually affect it. So that means that you can stack up to 3 units in one tile, eventually in the late game, which can make a very strong unit that you can use for attacking. You can even combine archers with warriors. So this will significantly affect how your civilization is, your military works, and this could potentially make for very interesting late game combat, especially in the multiplayer field. So you can combine those. Let's see if I can just open this. So war wariness is something that reduces amenities in cities. Accumulation, it just accumulates when units are killed, when battles occur in foreign territory, etc., etc., and it reduces amenities. So that's actually a huge feature that I forgot to talk about. Amenities. Oh wow. As you can see, I'm not prepared as usual. Amenities. So amenities and housing. These two features are what are used to limit city growth. So amenities and housing, basically. If you don't have enough housing you gain from being next to a river, from having special policies, from having special buildings, from having an aqueduct, etc., etc. So amenities are gained through those means. And amenities, not amenities, housing. Housing is gained from neighborhood districts as well. Being next to a river, policies, etc., etc. Amenities can be gained from policies. But housing is gained from that. If you're close to your housing gap, then you're going to suffer a penalty in terms of growth. It is a very severe penalty, 75%. So you want to settle near rivers and stuff like that as much as possible. So without housing, your civilization will fall and not stand the test of time, unless if you're on a very low difficulty, which I don't blame you for if you are, but it will make the game easier. It might help. Anyways, so amenities are, housing, is used to limit growth in cities. This is one of the main reasons why science and culture are very low in Civilization 6 as well, because that is a major limit to cities. And now amenities. Amenities is like happiness. Amenities is local happiness, actually. I believe they removed global happiness. So amenities are gained by luxuries, policies, that, and some governments. So amenities are gained from that. They're lost by wariness, and amenities, they're the equivalent of happiness. They basically have the same negative effects as housing. If you don't have much, one luxury is enough for one amenity for 4 cities. I don't believe multiple luxuries help you in that aspect. So amenities can be quite useful. Okay, now well, there was something I was thinking about, but I forgot. Let's just go from here. Barbarians are more common and aggressive as usual. If you have a barbarian encampment close to a horse resource, or in fact any other resource, then they're going to use that resource for themselves. So you might encounter mounted horsemen early in the game. Declaring war, okay, so later in the game with civics, you will get casus belli. Casus belli are reasons for war. So with casus belli, it depends on what happens. There's reconquest, there's other things. So casus belli you use to decrease the warmonger penalty for declaring war. And they're kind of easy to get because you can denounce the player, but that also gives them preparation for war. Warmonger, blah blah blah. These are the same. Line of sight. Most of these are the same. Formations is what I was talking about stacking units. So after the industrial era, you can form corps and armies. They may not be broken apart again. Pillaging gives you bonuses, 25% of the initial production cost to improve it. Zone of control, all of that's the same. Eureka monuments, golden. These are the same. Bankruptcy actually reduces amenities, happiness, if you don't have enough. Unlike Civ 5, it does not spawn rebels. No, never spawns rebels. What am I talking about? Theological compact, I did talk about that. Diplomatic relationships. So, at war, denounced unfriendly, neutral, declared friends, and allies. That's the declaration of friendship right there. Your research agreements are the same as Civ 5. You can choose for a specific technology to go towards. Spies and espionage. So, spies, you can steal great works. You can siphon income from market districts. You can sabotage production, hurt their production, and great work heists. I think I said that. And you can, of course, steal technology. This technology is predetermined. You can also improve your sources, which basically allows you to improve the it basically improves your chances of succeeding in any task, and that's 100% chance of success. Trade yields, blah blah blah. So, air combat, there are air bases, patrols, airstrikes, and intercepts. So you can set up an air base district, and you can have your planes basically patrol around a certain tile that is within range of that district. Yeah, it can only hold up so many. You can improve it. Nuclear weapons. People like this. Gandhi likes this. I had to say that, I'm sorry. So nuclear weapons have changed. So there's nuclear or thermonuclear. Nuclear has a range of 12, which is quite quite large, sorry. Don't know why hard. Anyways, they used to be 10, but they're 12 now. And in Civ 5, I mean. And so you are deploying them in a missile silo. This is another district that you can use, and you can use them to bomb people. Thermonuclear device, blast range of 2, and it has a range of 15, so better range. So with nuclear weapons, you need a special project, the Manhattan Project, then you need a project to deploy it, then you need to build an area to deploy it, then you can actually use them. It's basically like the science victory of domination, which is weird. Destruction, it pillages tiles, Fallout. That's similar to Civ 5. Fallout reduces production, blah blah blah, contamination, great works relics. So national parks and seaside resorts produce tourism equal to the appeal of all tiles in the park. Appeal, I can show you after this. And they give you amenities. So appeal is based off what type of tile. So mountains are breathtaking. So yeah. Hills. See, this is breathtaking. So it goes from 1 to 6 appeal, and if you have higher appeal, then that means the neighborhood districts are more appealing. They're better, and it means that that other thing that I was talking about, the national parks, are better. Okay. In addition to all of that stuff, there's this UI interface. It gives you city status, resources, luxury and bonus resources, income, diplomatic expenses. No sliders because this is not Paradox, this is for Axis. They won't add sliders. Yeah, there are map filters that you can use. Resource icons, map pins, toggle, blah blah blah. You can change the interface there. Not much to see here. This is an expansion that if you pre-ordered it, then you would have gotten it. Otherwise, you get it after 90 days for free. Aztecs are really evil people, though. Not sure if you want to meet them. Anyways, that is the end of my video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.